Hello everyone, and Happy New Year, and welcome to Donna's File Part 2, and I could not wait to jump on today to tell you about some of the interesting things that I found in Donna Adelson's jail file. And some of the most interesting things are: she was moved to close supervision status December 18th, and she has been talking to someone with the last name Rashbaum while she's on the jail phone calls. Also, Donna is talking to 3 new local lawyers, heavily advised in the Charles Adelson trial that he would have benefited by having local counsel. And I have noticed a trend that in a local case that I'm also covering, the Shanna Gardner case of the Jared Bridegan murder, Shanna is also seeking local counsel in Jacksonville, as was heavily advised in addition to her counsel of Jose Baez. So this is a trend, and obviously, as we've seen that this case of the Dan Markel murder has allegedly sparked copycat crimes, I find it very interesting to see what is in Donna Adelson's file, especially with her incident reports. And she's talking a lot about spoons and kind of messing with the guards a little bit. And none of the reports are over a level 3, so they're not very high incident. But let's go ahead and look at some of what is in Donna Adelson's file, and I'll also be sharing later who Donna is calling in her first phone calls. All right, so let's send it to Donna's file right now. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Donna's File Part 2, and I wanted to share with you some of the most significant things that I've found in Donna's file so far. So, as she was booked into the Tallahassee jail the 21st of 2023, she was admitted into the jail, and they put her under direct observation. So, as we see here on the 21st, they tested her for PREA, and they housed her on a high-risk red due to her charges, but also due to some of the things that we've heard in the jail calls. And let's look at some of her interesting incidents here. On the 24th, this was an informal, miscellaneous incident. They said, while conducting a med pass, I observed a styrofoam cup sitting on the windowsill of room 516. Let it be known that inmate Donna Adelson is on direct observation and she should not have this item in her room. They called in the other officer, Meade, to see if he knew anything about the cup being in the Adelson room, and he didn't know anything about the cup. There was no documentation of her event log that stated she was given a styrofoam cup by an officer or a nurse, so not sure how she got that in her room. And I also wanted you all to see that she has refused some meals here on the 25th. And then she informed charge nurse Riley about her head hurting yesterday. That's on the 25th. On the 25th, she was crying and she stated that she wanted water. Informed her that there was a fountain located in the sink in her cell. She stated that she couldn't drink from it and that she needed a cup because she had one for 3 days. And let it be known that she was observed by myself this morning utilizing the fountain. So she has plenty of water. All right, and then she was checked by mental health Mrs. Richardson. I believe that Mrs. Richardson is a nurse. And then the nurse came in on the 26th, checked her vitals. On the 26th, she had a shower. All right, on the 26th, she also stated that her toilet would clog every time the adjacent cell toilet would flush, and the plunger was used to unclog her toilet. And very interesting. Nurse Cox approached Miss Adelson asking her if she wanted her blood work and labs done. Adelson verbally refused, stating no, and declined all treatment. Nurse Cox issued her a form to be signed for refusing. So she is actually refusing treatment. They spoke with inmate Adelson while in direct observation. While Lieutenant Williams was present out of view, defendant was advised that she must be cleared by the doctor in order to be removed from direct observation. Defendant was informed that once she was cleared from direct observation, she will be issued a tablet. So that's a lot of the big deal that we saw in her last meeting on the 11th about this stuff that's going on right now. So on the 29th, inmate Adelson was interviewed by medical house on direct observation on red during the booking process. Observation. After the completion of the interview, this inmate will remain on direct until further notice. Defendant does not to be at risk for PREA due to her age. Interesting. Inmate received PRE video. Okay, and then she stored her property. Then her mental health assessment. No tablet was given at this time. She's probably upset about that. And then she had another classification interview. They're saying no tablet, and she'll be on direct observation due to her charges. And then I believe that, okay, on the 30th, inmate knocked on the door and asked why hasn't she received a phone call. I advise inmate that I have no control over the phone calls and she should ask her classification sergeant. So on the 30th, inmate was given a phone call. Inmate has returned back to her cell. That was when she made her first phone call, on the 30th. And then I think she took a few showers. Then she had contact with her husband on the 6th of December after several attempts. And then she had breakfast, and Adelson had an appointment with her physician. And I believe that the physician had decided to keep her on direct observation. She's making more phone calls. On the 12th, the med nurse was conducting a med pass. Inmate Adelson gave the med nurse her food tray, saying she couldn't eat it due to being denied her spoon. Inmate Adelson is on direct observation, so she isn't allowed her spoon. When told at meal pass she could not have her spoon, she became upset and stated officers have been giving her the spoon all week. So it goes on for a lot of incidents about this spoon, and then they gave her a pencil to make some grievances, and she has been eating, she has been showering, hence her arguing about this spoon. All right, so this incident on the 14th, she says, I asked, was she done with her tray a few times, and she stated no, because I'm cold and I need to warm my hands in order to eat. She also said, give me my spoon back when I'm done. At this moment, she is currently sitting up on her bunk with her eyes closed and open breakfast tray, some food content still on the tray, and states she is still not done eating. I don't know what that's all about, but there's just a lot of stuff about this spoon. And then I'm trying to get some of her quotes here. She has been informed that she'll have limited amount of time to use her spoon for each meal. She stated she can't eat her food when it comes because it's too cold, and I informed her that she would have reasonable amount of time to have her spoon and the officer will retrieve it thereafter. Adelson is acting as if she can't comprehend the reasoning for her not to have the spoon as long as she wishes, and I informed her that if any further issues transpire with the spoon, she will not be allotted the opportunity to have this spoon. It's seeming like a standoff with this spoon. And so she's being given a pencil to make grievances. It sounds kind of like the Courtney Clenny jail file. These are just kind of bad acting women. Okay, so then she keeps going on and on about the spoon. And then she stated, I'll just give you the spoon back. I don't feel like eating right now. So, all right. So Adelson had a contact visit unscheduled with her attorney, Alex Morris, from 12:20 to 1:53. Then she was allotted time to call her husband. I'll have to look up that one, Alex Morris. there's a few other attorneys here. So let me tell you about some other attorneys. All right, some other attorneys that are visiting Donna in the jail are Ronald Thomas and Jenna Von C as well. They visited with her for an hour. And then it also states that, Adelson is being placed on step-down close supervision status. She is not allowed to have socks or towels in her cell. She's allowed to have her tablet, but headphones are to be retrieved after each use. She is allowed to keep all of her clothing, gave her all of the canteen, gave her the agency-issued blanket. So she is on a close supervision status. So she had those visits with Thomas and Jenna. She's being allowed more things. Her canteen pass, as we can see here. So Adelson expressed that she is completing a lot of documentation for her attorney, and while sitting on her bunk with no back support, it is beginning to cause her back pain. Spoke to Toria in the mental health, who informed me that Adelson is no longer under mental health observation, and I deemed it necessary to place the plastic chair with back support to accommodate her to complete her documentation. All right, so I've given these names of the attorneys to some of the people covering this case, but I wanted to also tell you a little bit of information about who Jenna Von C is. According to her LinkedIn profile, she is a criminal conflict and regional counsel lawyer, Florida State University College of Law. She's worked for the Florida Supreme Court. She's a law clerk. She went to Florida State University. All right, that's Jenna Von C. Ronald Thomas in Tallahassee went to Loyola University. He's an experienced criminal defense attorney. And there was one more lawyer. But anyway, thank you guys so much for listening to Donna's jail file, and I'll be looking at her calls next. I hope everyone's having a wonderful new year. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching and liking and subscribing. Stay tuned for Donna's first phone calls coming up, and I can't wait to share with you who she's been calling. Here's a hint, it's mostly Harvey, but we're definitely interested to hear more about these new lawyers, Jenna Von C and Ronald Thomas, and what they can do for Donna Adelson's case and the Dan Markel murder trial. So let's hope for more justice for Dan. Let's hope that there is a speedy trial coming up and more convictions. Thank you so much for watching and liking and subscribing. Have a wonderful 2024.